Hey CMA buddies, since you are lined up for examination tomorrow for financial management and business data analytics, I actually thought since I've completed business data analytics in full, I would rather tell you what are the most important topics to be covered for tomorrow's exam. Now, this is not completely exhaustive. I cannot assure you that only the questions will be asked from these topics, but since I've referred the last year question papers, I did realize that these are the topics on which you need to pay more emphasis because the other parts have already been covered. And if you talk about the pattern of the questions, the theory questions usually carry 7 marks. So if you look from that perspective also, these are the topics which would actually these will be the questions which will be carrying 7 marks rather, because the other parts are very smaller in size, so it's not very likely that those questions will be asked. Now again, I'm telling you, if you have seen my videos completely, or any other videos for that matter, you do a complete revision, but these are the topics you pay more emphasis on, so that if such kind of questions comes, you are able to answer it and score maximum, right? So let's look at the various topics. Won't take much of a time because I guess you are short of time also. So let's look at the module 8 first. So what are the various topics that can be covered in module 8? First of all, I genuinely feel that advantages and process of digitization may be asked. This is in module 8.3. So this is something which is very, very important. And if you talk about 8.4, you will be having a question on transformation of data to decision relevant information. This 8.4 basically is the chapter which talks about this entire part. There are some 6 core steps in that, right? So there are some 6 core steps. So please run through it because it's quite intensive. So there may be a 7-mark question in that. Now 8.3 and 8.4, I felt these are the only 2 questions which are very, very important. The other parts have already been covered. So if you have seen, if you really want a reference, you can check my videos also, or you probably can go to the solution part and you can figure out that the other questions have already been solved by the chapter also. So you can have a look at that. So with respect to module 8, 2 topics that you need to cover are advantages and process of digitization in 8.3, and 8.4 you can basically look at transformation of data to decision relevant information. 6 core steps. Then you come to module 9. Now in module 9, what I realized is in 9.1, phases of data processing. That's one topic you need to have a look at. And there are 11 significant areas where data science plays an important role. How I have explained is R square, C cube, PPF, A cube. So this is quite a list, and there may be a chance that a 7-mark question may be asked. So if they ask you significant areas where data science may play an important role, you can have a look at that. Maybe 7 of them, even if you mention, they won't be asking all 11, but they will be asking you what are the significant areas where data science may play an important role. So you can write either of the 7. The way I have remembered, or the way I have made the videos, is by remembering this topic as R square, C cube, PPF and A cube. So if you have a better idea, you can do that, but please don't miss it. I think in 9.1 this may be a very important topic. Now 9.2, you have functions of data processing, and you may have a data classification matrix. So these 2 topics, please don't miss out. As far as 9.3 is concerned, you have to have a look at types of data distribution, binomial, Poisson, geometric, etc. So I have discussed that in detail, so you can have a look at that also. And when I talk about 9.4, most important ones are in data cleaning. You can have a look at the steps and the benefits. Steps I feel is very important. Maybe there may be a question on steps of data cleaning, and what are the types of data validation. If you've seen the videos, I've explained it as DUFRCC. SRCC is a college in Delhi University. I've replaced that S by F, and that's how I remember this. Types of data validation and steps can be very, very important. Maybe one of these 2 questions can come here in exam, or rather may come here in an exam. Then you come to module 10. Now module 10, you haven't have 10.1 and 10.2 are more or less covered in the previous papers. So have a look at 10.3. In 10.3 also specifically you would see data presentation architecture, that is DPA. So in DPA, have a look at the scope and the steps. Both of them are important. Then 10.4, very, 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 very important, because one of the questions usually in all the attempts have been asked. So you've already seen report design, which is already covered in the previous question papers. So dashboard graphs, sorry for the spelling, dashboard graphs, diagrams and Tableau. So these are the 4 topics, not very tough as such. If you just read through it once, you would be able to reproduce that in exam. So you can basically write it in your own words. So these 4 topics you have a look at. And finally in 10.5, tools and techniques of visualization and graphical representation, right? Now coming to the most important module of all, definitely one question will be there for sure. When you talk about 11.1, I think it's already covered. I would rather start from 11.2. 11.2, the topics which are very important are process of data analytics, then process of data mining. There are some 4 steps, have a look at that, and techniques of data mining. Then you come to 11.3. Now 11.3, you would have seen there are analytics. Now these analytics are basically of 4 types. 2 of them have already been covered. I guess one is predictive, and one is prescriptive, and one is just a second. One is prescriptive and one is descriptive, right? So the other 2s are diagnostics and predictive. Now usually the pattern is that these questions have been asked in December attempts only, but that doesn't mean we can leave it and go. You at least have a look at diagnostics and predictive for sure. There may be a question on either of them. Prescriptive and descriptive have already been asked. You can have a look at it, but need not read it in detail. Highly likely it may not be asked, right? Then you go through XBRL, Extensible Business Reporting Language, very, very important. I guess this is a topic that you learn as soon as possible, because when you go to your finals also in corporate accounting, you would find this topic. And if I'm not wrong, this is a topic which will be asked in some other paper also. So cost and management, CMAD, if I'm not wrong, I'm not very sure, but XBRL is something you cannot miss out on. Very easy to remember, but very, very important, because this topic is will be repeated time and again. And finally, the most important of all, that is 11.5. Now in 11.5, you would see this very intensive. So one question is highly likely. You have a look at types of cloud computing. Business intelligence not so important, because it has already been covered either in last attempt or an attempt before. AI becomes important. AI also, if you want to focus on a particular topic in AI, that is artificial intelligence, please have a look at the application in area of financial services, right? So this question is highly likely to be asked. Machine learning versus deep learning, again important. Have a look at robotic process automation, and finally you have a look at approaches towards machine learning. So there are 5 categories, that is supervised, unsupervised, so on and so forth. So you would have read it, have a look at that. So 11.5 out of all the modules is very, very important. Other ones I've already discussed. 11.3, maybe they may be asking, they may not be asking. So if you are revising, keep it for last. Other 3, XBRL, process of data analytics, process of data mining, techniques of data mining in 11.2, and 11.5. 11.5 you cannot miss, come what may, because either the question will be asked either in your MCQs, or it will be a direct descriptive question. So 11.5, types of cloud computing. BI is something which you can keep aside, or rather you can have not so detailed look. The cloud computing part is very, very important. AI, you need to have a look. AI, especially the application in area of financial services, machine learning versus deep learning, robotic process automation, and approaches towards machine learning. These 5 categories are very, very easy. Just read through it, you would be able to recollect that, right? And other than that, please do go through my video on MCQ, right? I've covered that very intensively. Please go through it, because in strategic management also I made one video. Usually I would rather confess that these were all from the question bank given by your institute, but I tried to make it more intensive, or rather I had proper solutions for it, not only the options but the explanation for that. Similarly, I have given MCQs video in business data analytics also. Please run through it, because in strategic management, more or less all the questions that I covered were asked in the exam. Similar may be the case in business data analytics also. So it may not be a very long video, but please do look at it, because if at all, if there is some kind of there may be a situation wherein you may find FM to be a bit tricky part. In that case, a BDA can be a savior. So please make sure your MCQs and the topics that I've told you, you just run through it. That doesn't mean you don't cover the other topics. Please have a look at that at least once. But these are the topics which I genuinely feel may be asked in your exams. Right? Thank you so much. All the best for your exams. Again, I'm telling you, please read the questions thoroughly before answering it. All the topics have been covered in detail. If you have doubt in any of the topics, please do refer to my videos. And I'm very sure of the 20 marks, if you have done my videos properly and if you just run through my MCQ videos, you would be able to score at least 15 to 18 for sure. Right? All the best, do well, and happy learning.